Everyone, hello. I am doing a video just purely in response to the current news, and this includes the ode of Meghan's palace PR of the sun god with Fachi for his birthday, but it now ties into Kate's new spring video, and it ties into King Charles's green imperialism, and also to Babylonian mysticism and Freemasonry. So I'm going to connect all these things. And firstly, this all started and evolutionized and developed from this one post of Rebecca English from Daily Mail. This shill has just talked about the how Prince Charles is raising issues of global uncertainty. So he's enforcing more centralized control and unity, let's say, which is centralized control. And it's just a means. It's a strategic means. It's not actually authentic, and it's a part of this restructure that I've been talking to you about for so long. But I'm going to explain what it means in terms of his green imperialism, and then we're going to tie that into Kate's new video. So when a monarch invokes global uncertainty, it isn't just commentary, it's strategy, especially when that monarch is King Charles III, architect of the green transition under imperial branding. Supposedly, this green man is a part of British history, but I'm going to explain to you that it's been a Christianized Slavic symbol of St. George. And then from there, before that, it was Amun-Ra, and before that, it was Marduk, the ruler of the earth in Babylon. And if you can recall the French Olympics, this guy was chilling around. It wasn't Dionysus, which could be another way of was he the god of fertility in Greek? If he was, he'd be a part of this, but I'm not too sure. Charles doesn't just warn of instability. He positions the crown as ever as a stabilising force and moral authority in a shifting world. But look closer, the restructuring of global systems is already underway with him at the helm. World Economic Forum, achieving sustainable future is the growth story of our time, and can in fact fuel our post-pandemic recovery in a way that benefits people's lives and livelihoods and nature's own economy, and pays dividends for decades to come. And with that pandemic, it was then implemented our inflation. So they're trying to put us into a crisis to then force upon us this eco economy, this green imperialism that I've already discussed with you prior. Through the Terra Carta Sustainable Markets Initiative and soft power diplomacy, Charles has recast Britain's imperial influence in green terms. Resources, land and compliance are again being directed from the top down. It's also been done before. Green imperialism, colonial expansion, tropical island Edens, and the origins of environmentalism, 1600 to 1860. This green crown rebrands colonial control as ecological stewardship, but the logic is familiar: extractive economics, technocratic rule, and imposed values, just with renewable energy and ESG standards instead of redcoats. St. George's original crown before the feathers. Show you here. This is St. George with the 3 ostrich feathers representing the Prince of Wales. He's slaying the dragon. The Garter King wearing a tabard with the royal arms and crown, kneeling before St. George. So that's the Order of the Garter. So St. George originally was the dragon killer, or the dragon, the Slavic sun god, Yorilo. Yorilo or Yura comes from the root jar, which can mean both spring, green, and brightly burning, raging. The crown, his original crown, were sprouts or sprigs. They were not feathers. So this is St. George. This is the evolution of St. George here. He always came through with a white horse as well. This is the 3 feathers. Trump's allegiance to St. George and the sun god. And we'll get through to that in a minute. Which is King Charles. This is Yorilo or Yura. This is what his look is like, which then ties into the Green Man or the Green King, which was a part of King Charles's coronation invitation. The 3 flowers there representing that Charles was the 3rd. And this is the sun god Marduk from Babylon, who was also known as a dragon and the sun god. So when Charles speaks of global uncertainty, listen closely. It's not fear, it's framing. The monarchy is not retreating from the world. It is repositioning itself as its ethical guide and global manager. Now, I was then told to look at this new article where the Crown or the Palace PR are now using the Cancer narrative as symbolism in support of Charles and his new green imperialistic restructure. We've already had one Royal Rota shell, the Daily Mail, already chip in about global uncertainty. And now we've got another shill, Russell Myers of the Mirror, a part of the Royal Rota, talking about the symbolism, the symbolistic allegiance under the Cancer narrative of Kate. The new video of her, how would you say, doing a whole video about spring. And if I've just shown you before, St. George or Yorilo or Yura or Marduk represented the coming of spring and is the sun god. It brings the sun for the flowers, for everything to harvest and for the harvest. It's a Slavic god, so that's what usually Ukrainians and a lot of all the Slavic regions, when they would pray for harvest, they would pray to Yorilo. And that's all the dancing that they do. And they usually have a green man, which is the one that's represented with the green monarch on the coronation invite, praying for spring and for harvest, and probably for fertility and growth and renewal. There's a fair few things Not a fair few, just some things that I want to point out with this video. I'm not going to watch the video due to copyright issues. So, yeah, okay. This has nothing to do with anything, but it's just really symbolism, which is that it goes hand in hand and complements Meghan Markle's Farchi's birthday picture of him with the sun. Just swearing allegiance to the green god or the sun god, which are the same thing, Marduk. The princess has revealed how nature. Kate narrates the inaugural film from her new Mother Nature series that showcases the season of spring and features never-before-seen clips of her and Prince William enjoying the wedding anniversary on the Isle of Mull. Okay. It is through nature that we can fully understand the true interconnectedness of all things, the importance of balance, and the importance of renewal and resilience. Connecting to nature helps us to experience a deeper sense of ourselves, the world around us, and each other. Spring is a season of rebirth, of hope, and new beginnings. From the dark days of winter, the outside world quietly awakens with new life, and there comes a sense of optimism, anticipation, and positive hopeful change. Just as nature revives and renews, so too can we. Let us reconnect to nature and celebrate a new dawn. A new dawn, that's important, within our hearts. That's Kate with her script. And let me compare what I just quoted with what they quoted about the Green Man that was representing King Charles on his coronation invitation. The invitation's border is a sprawling British wildflower meadow featuring symbols such as rosemary sprigs for remembrance. Flowers appear in groups of three, signifying that the king is the third monarch of his name. The design centers on the Green Man, an ancient figure in British folklore who symbolizes spring and rebirth. You can see how the two messages align with this new video and with the Green King, which is King Charles and his green imperialistic restructure. A new dawn, imperial restructure terminology. This is a quote by King Charles, Prince at the time, 11th of January 2021. Today I am launching the Terra Carta as the basis of a recovery plan that puts nature, people and planet at the heart of global value creation. A new dawn for a more sustainable future. There's that speech by Kate. A New Dawn. This is Trevor Colt's one of his latest videos a day ago. A new dawn has arrived. Usually has a more deeper, significant meaning. I've got three sources here. One from 1914 by a publication called the Athenaeum, and then you've got the Freemasons Quarterly Review in 1848, and then you have the Congressional Record of USA 80 or 86 with honorary Morris Shepherd in the US Senate, November 22nd, 1940. This first publication is talking about the empire, the Roman Empire, and when they restructured with the Medici family. And so that is the new dawn, when the Medicis revived Rome. And the sought to discover how this ideal had fallen to pieces and left the world in darkness till the new dawn of the days of the Medici and the full sunlight of the age of Louis XIV. Oh, yeah, I'm pretty sure that would be how you say it, Louis XIV or XIV. To him, Byzantium was the China of the West, the art and literature of the Middle Ages, the foremost babblings of barbarians. So he says, Rome, a dream city of marble and classicism, an ideal strangely compounded of the toga and the periwig, of Virgil and Lucretius, and of Malherbe and Corneille. And he sought to discover, okay, whichever. This is the Freemasonry publication. Now, this is interesting because this talks about basically restructure by nature. And this is in the late 1800s that they're talking about this. And what's interesting is this ties into kind of like the Babylonian mysticism and St. George, and which is the symbol of City of London and the crown, and which would be then Horillo and the green crown, and also then the sun god and the dragon and the red Welsh dragon. And this is very, very interesting. This symbolism is consistent and constant throughout Charles's not even before when he was prince, when he became Prince Charles, his throne chair was of the Welsh dragon. Symbolism has been used throughout his entire public existence as Prince Charles to King Charles, of him representing the dragon, representing Dracula or Dracul, the House of Dracul, which is the House of the Dragon in Old Romanian, and the Green King, St. George, and if you connect that back through history, you've got the Egyptian gods, and then you've got the Babylonian gods if you go further back, which is Marduk, the sun god, or the son of the sun, the creation of all things and the ruler of the world. So I'll see if I can read out most of it. The first object upon which the attention is fixed helps to mold the future life. Sun and star and planet attract and repulse, and ever keep an even balance. The web is twisted, warped, and overlaid. Here a bright thread, there a somber skin. Or skein, I'm not sure. But from first to last, from the issuing of form out of chaos to the final plunge of time into eternity, the connection is continuous, the line unbroken. We grope along, but darkly in our estimate of history. We know not how many facts, influencing our present, weaving our future, lie buried in those ages, the records of which are lost forever. We cannot guess, much less know, what solutions of vexed problems, ancient and modern, are enshrined in the cave temples of India, involved in the hieroglyphics of Egypt. We tread at best in but a partial and uncertain light. There the spark flickers up into flame. Here it is hidden in impenetrable darkness. Let us discard presumption and move with caution. Let theory tread as lightly over past facts as reverential men tread over resting places and memories of the dead. In our lecture, we glance at three empires, the Jewish, the Grecian, and the Roman. We saw them rise from obscurity, emerge into the light of a partial civilization, and sink again into darkness. Nature is full of analogies, each sphere revolving on its axis, now banks in day, now sinks in darkest night, but only to prepare for a new dawn. Each revolution aids it on its onward course, but for it moves in a circle greater than its own, and the motion which brings it alternate light and shade propels it in the system of which it forms part round its great centre. So each nation revolving on itself, now rising up to the light of civilization, now returns to the darkness of barbarism, and the motion which causes its vicissitudes, aids the permanent progress of the great world. So there again, you're talking about imperial restructure, or the evolution of civilization, and you're talking about the new dawn. Not much particularly about nature, but they term nature. Now this is the Honorary Maurice Shepherd in Congress, 1940, November 22nd. He says, Mr. Shepherd, Mr. President, I submit for incorporation in the record 2 poems by former Representative Baker of New York. One is entitled Britain's Stupendous Service to Preserve World Liberty, and the other, America's Service. There being no objection, the poems were ordered to be printed in the record as follows. Britain's Stupendous Service to Preserve World Liberty. Once again is Britain holding the torch of liberty and right. What marvels do its sons achieve to break to break the Nazi boasted might. How splendidly they carry on, what courage, fortitude, and power, while weaker peoples it sustains in this world's most crucial hour. The measure of its service now will far exceed all done before, as an inflamed satanic host knocks fiendishly at its door. Where'er its faithful sons have gone, there's freedom's flag aloft was born. Ever its far-flung emblem seemed to mark the blessed liberty's new dawn. All through the centuries hath run a common purpose steadfast held. Dictatorship shall never rule, though by hatred venom impelled. With Britain true to glory's past, yet endless sufferings impend. Gibraltar doth but typify where liberty can never end. Crown Assets, which has been professed by a Shell Royal Production Company themselves, Kate and Meg, while their PR anyway, paying homage to King Charles, which is St. George, which is Yorilo or Ura, sun god and dragon, which was then Amun-Ra, the sun god, and then earlier than that, Marduk, son of the sun, dragon, creation, Babylonian ruler of the earth. 2 assets, Meghan and her palace PR, and this new video with this new bullshit by Kate, supposedly. Here, yep, so you've got them PR, then you've got the Christianization of the Babylonian sun god and dragon through Urilo becoming St. George, Marduk, and Freemason garb. So you can see here, Urilo, Slavic sun god, whose name comes from the root ja or ya, which means spring, green, and brightly burning. Raging also comes on the white horse and brings spring. In South Slavic countries, which is interesting because then you've got the Antichrist with the white horse. It's interesting because that brings the spring. So what is the spring? In South Slavic terms, Urilo was Christianized and became Saint George. The dragon symbolized Marduk, patron deity of the city of Babylon. It had the head of a viper, forepaws of a lion, and talons of a bird of prey. This is Marduk in his human form with his dragon. And this is the Freemason garb that has the honoring of the sun, or the sun god. From his wedding cake with Princess Diana, to saying he's related to Dracula, Vlad Tepes, House of Dracul or Dragon, to his throne chair when becoming prince, to his recent provocative painted red portrait. Alongside being the Green King, Charles has attempted to represent Marduk reincarnated. At his coronation as Prince of Wales in 1969, Prince Charles sat on a chair with a large red dragon emblazoned on it, which is the red dragon of Wales, also a part of his arms. Which is interesting because if you look at his badge or his arms, you've got on one hand you've got the crown of feathers, which really is a crown of the sprouts or sprigs of Urilo, of the sun god. And then you've got the red dragon, and the dragon representing the sun god as well, and Urilo. So it's almost like the dual system of this sun god. During the ceremony, his mother, Queen Elizabeth II, said that this dragon gives you your power, your throne, and your authority. His response to her was, "I am now your liege man, and worthy of your earthly worship." Of your earthly worship? Jesus. Liege is an old English word meaning lord. Charles ordering a red dragon to be added to the wedding cake. That shit about him being related to Vlad Tepes. And of course the red dragon himself. The Green God, or St. George of England, City of London and Freemasonry, is the dragon and is the sun god. Charles represents the evolutionized Marduk, ruler of our world. You see here Urilo, Slavic sun god, whose name means the brightly burning one, is the fire-breathing dragon. Lazarit's, I think it's Lazarit's rituals from Serbia. See the crown, it's a mix between the sprigs and the sun with the white horse. Well, that could be the dragon at that point. And that's the sun god. And there's the green god. It's all the same. I think that's it. Thanks, guys.